Again, what is the title?
Good morning, everyone. We would like to introduce the speaker of the session, Mr. Shrikanta Patra, who works as a business manager in ICAR Nivedi. He has completed his Master in Business Administration with major in Marketing, Technology and HR from NIT Warangal. His professional skills include business management. He is also a good hand marketer. He is also a very good organizer and a technology specialist. His achievements include more than 5,000 startups from the startup startups for Government of India. He is also a director IMB for Startup India for the He specialized and managed innovation and accelerator programs for various reputed institutions. He qualified ICAR, IARI technologies. He has managed and due diligence of the IT portfolio for Startup India. On behalf of the college management, principals, and students of Department of Technology, we extend a warm welcome to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Actually, thanks for giving me the opportunity to give you a glimpse of what's happening in startup scenario. So, I take this privilege to thanks Oxford College of Engineering for giving this opportunity. I thanks the coordinator, Dr. Manjunath sir, for giving us the opportunity to tell you about what's reality happening in agri ecosystem scenario. So most of my participants have been told that they're all faculty members and students. So it will be a quite interactive session. I will try my level best to make it much more interactive. I think the last, actually I joined very early and I came to know the last speaker was talking about technology commercialization, the different aspects of technology commercialization, how technology commercialization takes place in a research institutions, what are the different parameters, how the steps of commercialization takes place, and the practicality, how the technology transfer happens from an inventor level to a lab scale, from lab scale to a commercialization, what the process goes on, and how you do technology transfer documents with different institutes and startups to take those technology and scale it as much bigger and the pilot scale level. So this is the process of how technology transfer occurs in an institution level. And if we will take the example of top technology institutes from IITs and ICRs and CSIS, they do have a proper structured technology transfer process. In ICR system, IHR followed by IRI has nearly about 400 to 500 technologies with them. So they do a lot of technology transfer from the ITMU divisions. So my topic is about how the startups takes the technology, or he uses his own method of technology to scale that and to make it as a much more commercializable stage. And what are the challenges he face, and what are the challenges of agriculture sector that come across, and how the startups are taking these challenges to make things much more feasible for our country's economy. So let me share the slide first. My slide is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Please put it on slideshow, sir.
It's in the slideshow mode only.
No, sir. We couldn't able to see. Sir, instead of sharing the PPT PPT directly. You can share the screen and then open the PPT. Actually, usually most of the speakers are having this problem. If they share the PPT directly, it is not going on slideshow.
Actually, I've opened the windows. From that windows, I have clicked the slide.
Instead of window, you can either click screen or desktop, sir.
Just a second.
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Now is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my topic is the success stories in agri startup scenario. My name is Shrikant Patra. I'm the business manager of Navik Agribusiness Incubation Center. Previously, I've worked with many organizations from Manage Hyderabad, IIT Delhi, Startup India team, ICR, IARI, in different verticals of startup building, incubation process, technology commercialization, IP management. With more than 10 years of experience, I have screened and scanned nearly about 5,000 to 6,000 startups in the due diligence. So regularly, we scout new startups in new verticals, new areas, and we take the most innovative part on the most USP of all the startups and how they succeeded it, and what are the technology aspect in those startups that will enable countries' growth economy. So I'm also active member of Interministerial Board of Startup India, where we take cases of agri biotechnology startups and make policies out of it. How the biotechnology map of India can be mapped, taking all these startups areas, and which areas have the most impact factor will be discussed, and it will, and the shared knowledge will be used in different ministries to make policies out of it. So my agenda for today's topic will be on Indian agriculture. So, what is a startup and what's the definition of it? Successful startup mantra, the focus areas and the challenges faced by the startups, how agri startups timeline should be, and some of the successful agri startups in the country. So Indian agriculture, I will just speak a few words on this in a nutshell. At the time of Britishers, when they invaded India, they used our labors and all to make use of cash crops as one of the major plants to produce to produce in India and help in the growth of country's economy. So when British, at the time of Britishers, only cash crop was their agenda. So our own genetic resources, our own genetic agriculture diversity was not looked at by the Britishers. So they were mainly hampered, which were 1,000 years of traditional knowledge. So at the time of Green Revolution, when it started on normal bull time, that is about 1960, the Green Revolution takes a major impact with introduction of new technology, breakthrough initiatives, and use of different variety of crop patterns and all, and use of integrated farming. Those kind of technologies and systems of methods of agriculture were introduced. But the issue was that we are not properly aware how the Indian agrarian agriculture should be. People use this kind of breakthrough innovations and breakthrough models, but we use excessive amount of pesticides and mismanagement of crop rotation. That was, awareness was not there. ICR that time was starting to active, so there was a major hurdles in this. And what ultimate result is this? We lost our main varieties of genetic crop, from rice, wheat to many horticultural crops were also perished in that time. So that may be due to many reasons, like use of excessive water from the ground table, and the loss of productivity happens. So the systems continued till 1980s and 19. Then at that time, we are looking at key foreign investors, key they will try do something in our agriculture systems. Monsanto, DuPont, and Syngenta, many modern companies from Western world came and they established their operations. They use their own varieties of rice genomes, and they did experiments, and that how somehow we accepted it. Our agriculture system accepted it ki, this is what this was the case. But simultaneously ICR system was also working on to introduce new varieties, so that the farmers get timely aware ki which type of crop should be used, how much pesticide should we put, what is the distribution of water table throughout the country. That was looking at one part. Then a revolutions, farming 2.0, I will say the revolution happens when two to three startups joined the campaign from Silicon Valley to make a proper value chain. They address the value chain problems, supply chain problems, how the loss of crop productivity happens, and they introduced it their own methodology with the help of scientists, business personals, and government bureaucrats. Those companies also succeeded at that time, like companies like Ninja Cart. They tried, which act mostly in the southern part. They acted very actively in those of the major roadblocks. Then slowly, small and marginal, because India is mainly belong to the marginal farmers, which is lands who have a lesser land size. So they started understanding that the role of technology will definitely change the shape of Indian agriculture system. So slowly VCs also were interested to come into this picture, and finally the government has put a picture of how and where the map of Indian agricultural startup should be. And in 2014 they coined the startup India, from which the VCs will also take part in Indian agriculture systems. Many startups who want to do something in agriculture scenario, they also came into action with their small ideas. Somebody who is into into analytics wants to come and give their solution to bigger farms or small marginal farmers. Somebody who is into supply chain, they also came into enter this space of agri startups. So this is the paradigm shift from green revolution to till date what is happening. Majorly, the startup focus areas are mainly divided into 5 types. One is agriculture, that is pure agriculture, post-harvesting, the scientific method of agriculture, farm mechanization, agri-input, precision farming, irrigations, IT, sericulture, food processing, and value additions. In animal science, mostly in animal biotechnology, animal health, feed, fodder, diagnostics, biological data analytics. In horticulture science, post-harvesting technology, mechanization, data analytics, food processing. In fisheries technology, feed rearing, process, fisheries management, data analytics. In poultry, feed, caging, disease diagnostics, poultry management, health diagnostics. These are the focus areas majorly an agri startups looks at. Now if you will go, you can ask me what is a startup is. The reality of a startup is, the definition of a startup is, startup is an entity which can be a private limited, LLP, or partnership. That startup should work on innovation of product, process, or services, or development of existing product, process, or services. It should have a scalable business model with wealth creation and employment generation. The startups should not incur revenue generation more than 100 crores in any of the financial years, and an entity is considered as a startup if its date of incorporation from today should not be more than 10 years old. That is the standard definition of a startup. As a faculty or as a student, you should understand what is the proper definition of a startup as per Gadget Government of India. So this is the standard definition of startup. It should not be more than 10 years old. Let it be for biological startups or non-biological startups. So this is the standard definition. If anybody asks you what is the definition of a startup, this is. Then what is the success mantra for startups, and why and how the startup gets successes? we will look at it in VC angle, venture capitalist angel investors angle. He should have an innovative idea, product or process or services, as I told you. He is developing an existing product, process of services, which is something far excellent than what is the existing norm is. His or her business model is scalable. That means that it is reaching multi-cities. It can reach across any place in India. It has enough revenue generation model. It generate revenue. Its churn ratio is much more. How big is the problem the startup is addressing? Because this is what a VC look at this angle. How much customer he is having till date? What is the customer ratio? How much customer he is having per place? How much in per month? How much customer he is generating in per day? How much he is generating? What is the entry barrier to the business? Let it be in socio, demographic, or economical barrier. Any kind of barrier. What is the entry barrier of that business? How the market is accepting that product? Is there is the problem is properly defined for the market? So this is the different this is the set of criterias that a VC look at for a success mantra in a startup. If this all the criterias, if it gets satisfied, then trust me, your startup within a span of 3 years will be a successful. So just let it be it in an agri startup or biotechnology startup or food processing startup or non-biological startup. This is the standard thumb rule. How a success is measured for a startup. Then comes the agri startup timeline. So generally, a startup, when it has to reach a market or from ideation to commercialization, it takes 12 to 18 months. This is the time period. In that time period, they spend time on planning the idea, where the ideation, problem conceptualization take place. They do a lot of research on their problem to define that. And the problem, when they defined it, they designed the prototype, they designed the proof of concept. Okay, the proof of concept had to be tested. They will have some kind of testing on it. Then after testing, they will launch their first minimum viable product. The minimum viable product means it should have less minimum characteristic. They are ready to launch with minimum characteristic. That is called minimum viable product. When the minimum viable product is ready, they go for validating it through any organization to certify it. The startup product, process or services is properly functional and it doesn't have any harm to the society. It can be consumed or it can be used. Okay. After validation, when they get certification of validation, a startup go for a pilot production. In that pilot production, the startup needs fund. How they will manage this fund? They go for institutional, they go for grant, loan, subsidy to scale that. So after pilot production, they will have a minimum amount of products. To make it much more scalable, they need more money. For that, they also raise money through bank, loan, equity, and they start to commercialize in the market. So this is the standard protocol a startup follow from planning to commercialization. That is from ideation to commercialization. So if anybody who wants to opt for startup have an idea, he has to undergo this following step. And each following steps requires technical and business capabilities hand in hand. Only technical capabilities cannot lead you to make a proper minimum viable product. You need the help of a business people who will structure that process, who will give you a kick of what is happening in and around of industry. So this is how technology commercialization or a proper planning from idea to commercialization take place in a proper successful agri startup. So when you talk about agricultural scenario, the startups nowadays they're very much cunning. They're addressing many challenges. I've listed some of the challenges. They are much more concerned about market linkages faced by farmers. They try to connect the product from farmers to market, which leveraging the use of technology. They want to minimize the middleman. They want to replace the middleman, and how the product can be reached to the marketplace. They are looking at. They manage the whole supply chain where the productivity is not lost for perishable, non-perishable product. They manage each stakeholders in the value chain properly. Now in you must be knowing in 2014 our own Prime Minister has also said that in Indian agriculture system, we don't have data. Data, when I say data, it's related to how much acreage of land productivity is there, how, in which area, in which farmer, what type of crop he's producing, what are the problem faced by it, how each dynamics of a state differs from other dynamics. So don't have any kind of data till date. So this is where this is the space where now maximum number of agri startups are playing their role. So for managing the data, you need data capturing techniques. So data capturing techniques also evolved with the use of AI and machine learning and IoT and other techniques. So startups are leveraging on this kind of technology. There are many advisory services which were lacked by the government people, where startups are giving their much more customized solution for each sector of farmers or middlemen or customers, any kind of advisory from plant health, animal health, finance, from procurement, from training, development. Every kind of startups are addressing where government unable to make a successful impact on that sector. There are the most important part is post-harvesting technology, where startups are managing with their innovative ways and innovative business model methods and technology to address post-harvesting management. And lastly, the scientific method of farming, from cropping pattern to determining the weather conditions to soil capability. So precision agriculture plays an important role where startups are addressing. You must be knowing that 99% people who are into this kind of challenges, who are using their innovative solutions into this kind of challenges, are not agriculture background. Mostly they are into electronics, mechanical, non-technical, and very few are there who are having agriculture backgrounds are entering into this, but mostly are addressed by non-agri backgrounds. So they have a degree in computer science, they want to address some computer vision problems. Somebody is into good in logistics, they manage the supply chain. Somebody is good in AI, ML, machine learning, they manage the whole method of data capturing. Somebody who's into advisory service, they are all in IT people. So maximum size of startups who are into this space are all non-agri, but they appoint lot of agriculture graduates, biotechnology graduates to conceptualize the problem, to understand the problem, and make some innovative solution out of it. So we'll have some of the summaries of startup stories. So when I say agri startup revolutions, one name that come in my mind is NinjaCart. NinjaCart is one of the startups who has been raised in Bangalore, and started in 2015 by T. Nagarajan and his co-founders. So he manages the entire supply chain of fruits and vegetables from the farm gate till the retailer. So NinjaCart is basically a B2B platform where he has many customers from restaurant side, from individual retailer side, who can opt any kind of NinjaCart products from the online, and within a span of 12 to 18 hours, it will be delivering morningly at your doorstep. So this is how he manages whole NinjaCart. The two things that common in all these startup is everybody are trying to manage. One is the customer side, another is the farmer side. Why farmer will take your products? Farmer will take your product because they feel a complete security that I have got a timely production. My output will be directly treated by some professionals who will give me the exact amount of what I am producing, and it will going at the retailer side. So this is how the whole value chain is maintained. You have to make the one side of farmer happy by giving 1 rupee extra, and you have to give the retailer side happy by reducing 1 rupee less. So this is how the whole ecosystem is balanced. So how the things happens in this fruit and vegetable is the NinjaCart will get up procurement forecasting from the retailer side, how much to be procured from the farmer side, which kind of fruits and vegetables to be procured from each farm gate. It will have a totally full chart before the night, then that will be enabled through the farmer's mobile app. They will look at all the how much amount of tons has to be given to the collection center. So everything will be notified through a proper IT analytics channel. So the farmers will supply, or the people of NinjaCart will go to the farm gate, they will collect it, and they will go to the collection center. In the collection center, it will be graded, cleaned, chopped, and everything. And it has to be graded at a type of quality B, quality C, quality D. Then it will go to the fulfillment center, where in the fulfillment center, how much they will do the quantification, which area, how much amount will be going, what are the types of fruits and vegetables need to be reach to the customer. From the fulfillment center, it will go to the distribution center. At each place it will be located, so that by the morning 6 to 7 o'clock it will be delivering to the retailer. The retailer will be paying the amount online or directly to the NinjaCart portal, and in the same way NinjaCart will directly pay to the farmer. So this is how the whole ecosystem works. NinjaCart can sell to big basket, NinjaCart can sell to retailers, NinjaCart even also procure from small startups who are also into this space. So this to tell you that this space, that what NinjaCart is working and how he has disrupted the whole process of fruit and vegetables, how it was going from Mandi to middleman to retailer, it has totally disrupted the whole business. So through this disruption, the use of data analytics, the use of data management has played an important role in shaping the whole fruit and vegetable supply chain. So it's a total 300 billion business. So there are now nearly about 30 to 40 startups are in this area only, fruits and vegetables, working totally on fruits and vegetables. So now NinjaCart brain, you can say the decision teams comprises of IITians, they have IIMs in them. So this is how NinjaCart started. Now NinjaCart is total, he has money raised about 349 million, and it's currently now valued at 500 million. And in the span of 1 year, it will be a unicorn. A unicorn means whose valuation goes for more than 1 billion. So in India now there are total 79 startups who are valued as a unicorn. Out of them, NinjaCart is on his way to be a unicorn. I think by next year it will be a unicorn in agri space. So these are the big money making business in agri sector, that is the fruit and vegetables. So NinjaCart is one of the major player in it. So it has flourished to from Bangalore to Chennai, Chennai to Hyderabad, Hyderabad to Mumbai. So it has received money from angel investor, nearly about 349 millions. There are VCs, there are angel investors who put money on successful startups. One thing is that the startup has to scale, and it has to scale very rapidly. So that they look at, and NinjaCart is one of the best case study out of it. So second example, I will tell you about DeHaat, which is a seed to market concept. They provide end-to-end farming services to the farming communities. DeHaat is started in 2016 by Shashank and Devendra. So Shashank is an IIT Delhi graduate. He is from a farming background from Bihar. DeHaat is very actively in Patna region. So he was one of our first incubatee when I was with IRI Pusa. Now DeHaat has raised nearly about 162 million from different VCs and angel investor. It is also valuing at 400 crores. So the concept of DeHaat is very simple. They minutely see what is the real time problem of a farmer while he is in the field. Okay, so a farmer faced problem like he needs pesticides, he needs urea, he needs seeds to grow his harvest. So for that, what he needs, so he needs money. So there are nearly about 350 DeHaat center in a span of 3 kilometers in and around Bihar. So from that, any farmers who are in that vicinity of 3 kilometers can contact DeHaat for which kind of cropping pattern to grow today to have a proper yield. So which kind of what are the diseases that that can affect a crop. DeHaat takes takes the care very minutely with the help of their mobile app. In the mobile app, they can click the picture of the plant, and it will be addressed in phone call by DeHaat executive call centers. DeHaat give you agri inputs, give you types of biofertilizers, type of chemical fertilizers to the farmers, how much amount it has to be put to the farmland, it has to be calibrated. So they have do all kind of training programs for them in each farming community. So what happens is they have you have a trust built with the farmers. So any kind of issue is there, people will go to DeHaat. So that kind of trust building they have kept. And most important is the whatever the production happens in any of the DeHaat farm of that farmer will be taken, will be buyback will be buyback the best based on the grading. If the grading is A grade, it will be going, it will be giving you much bigger amount, fetching you amount. So this is how the confidence build with farmers and DeHaat people. So DeHaat also create micro entrepreneurs in each DeHaat center. People DeHaat team they will guide to create one micro entrepreneur who will take care of that village. So you can say he creates village level entrepreneurs with the help of DeHaat. So this is how the model of DeHaat is. DeHaat take very minutely with all those requirement of a farmers with the help of a mobile app and through DeHaat center, and they give you assurance on buyback guarantee. So they have raised nearly about 162 million. When I was in 2016 with IRI Pusa, so that time they were very new. So you can see how fast they have growth now to 162 million they have raised, which is an immense. Matlab, it's nearly about more than 1,000 crores they are having in their hand. So this is how the scalability is plays an important role. Now they have completed their Bihar operation. They are trying with Chhattisgarh. They are trying with Odisha. They are trying with Madhya Pradesh. They are trying at Nagpur, Sangli region. So they are trying for horticulture crops. So this is a way where people feel very excited ki with bootstrapping, with using your own money or bank money, it takes a lot of time. So if Dehat would have opted for bank loan or use his own money, it would not have scaled so hugely. So they need help of an external partner who will invest in their company. They take the equity. If Dehat has 100% out of this, founders equity is nearly about 60%. The rest money they have raised would have taken 5% equity in that company, and they have made that company successful. So this is how things work in partnership. So this is the totally the model what US follows in back in the year 1970s to 2000. This model is now applied in India of investing in startups. So Lycius, it's now 1 billion valuation company, and everybody must be knowing what is Lycius. It's online partner of delivery of meat and seafood. So it's also another Bangalore company which has raised nearly about 332 million, and it's founded by Vivek Gupta in the year 2015. So in the span of 6 years, the scalability is huge. Lycius uses own method of production of meat, standardization, quality, hygienic, and way of treating birds and animals at their own facility, rearing them with the right nutritions. So Lycius is one of the major players which have disrupted this meat and seafood industry, keeping the meat very healthy, delicious. What is their main motto, and it's one of the major player in this meat business. Lycius model has been now applied in other startups. Small startups are coming in the areas of Bangalore, Bhubaneswar, Bhopal, Indore, Delhi, using the model of Lycius. But the scale at which Lycius has raised money, nearly about 20 investors have invested in this Lycius company, so that the valuation is 1 billion. So Lycius appoints many animal veterinarians, microbiologists to work on their back-end operations and give a proper, tasty meat to the customers. They have their ready-to-meat option is there, or cut meat option is there. So Lycius is a major player. Now Lycius is also working on indigenous meat. This is another important concept of indigenous meat. the desi breed of meat that is also being cultured by many of the startups, giving you, or organic meat. So Lysis is also trying. Lysis has also tie up with small startups to provide them organic sheep, breed of sheep, chickens, or for example, there are different indigenous breed of breed in Karnataka, which are totally for meat production. So Lysis is also promoting them, giving them the right feed or fodder to them, giving veterinarians free of veterinarian services to them, and in return Lysis take the sheep or goat or to their own farm, and they rear it, and from that they make meat and mutton, whatever way they can reach the customers. So Lysis it's already a unicorn. So now startups are in this space need to explore more on indigenization meat, where they can open their own retail shop of indigenization meat and can promote them in gated communities of flats. And this is a space where they can need to work on. For example, how to increase the shelf life of a meat for more than 6 months, making it much more same freshness, same packaging systems. So this is an area where microbiologists need to also work on. Another important startup which made a name 3 years back, that is called Bijak. It's an agri-commodity trading platform started by Jitendra Bedwal, which is registered in Gurugram operation. So they are mainly active in UP, Haryana, Punjab. They recently raised more than 14.3 million from investors. Bijak is an commodity trading platform where all the middle agents in farming value chains, they do very much trading in local community, where the order size is less than 1 ton, 2 ton, 3 ton. So now Bijak has opened a proper trading platform for them, where they can trade interdisciplinary between different states. So this was missing in case of many startups. So Bijak has identified this problem, where startups are replacing the middleman. Bijak has made the commodity platform for middlemen only, where middlemen can communicate with other middlemen from different states, and in that price discovery will be properly handled. So, and what Bijak in return provide them? They provide them the trust. They provide them the registered, proper, verified contact list of all those commodity dealers, so that there is full transparency between dealing the commodity between interstates. So Bijak try to combine traders. They try to combine truck owners. They have to come. They're combining producers, farmers in one platform. So in this span of 3 years, Bijak has nearly raised 14.3 million, and they are now going for another raise of funding. So totally everything is work on mobile-based platform. Another example, this is one of the very good example, that is Waycool. Waycool also is same as the model of Ninja Cart, which is started by Karthik Jairam from Chennai, founded in the year 2015. So as you can see in the images, there is a distribution center here, which we have taken one of the photographs at the time in Chennai, where I visited there. So this is exactly the scenario of what happens inside fruits and vegetable warehouses. There will be one sorting unit, there will be one grading unit, there will be grading through artificial intelligence is also used, where one side conveyor, they will attach artificial intelligence robots. It will identify all those rotten, stolen, or the size, different variation of the size, color, and they will route it to different corners. So this kind of methodology has been used, and there is a startup which produces this kind of machines. So there is a startup by name Zentron Labs, which works on artificial intelligence of grading and sorting of fruits and vegetables. They work on this. So mainly the backbone of fruit and vegetable is how we can reduce the loss in supply chain, and because you can't store in fruit and vegetables on the shelf for more than 3 days. When you shelf it, the weight of fruits and vegetable decreases, which is a loss for the retailers owners. So we have to manage that. If any startup is there or any idea is there, you can increase the shelf life and the weight part is not reduced. So this is another idea where it's a money making idea, and people are dare to invest you more than 1,000 crores or n number amount, because this is a cutthroat competition, fruit and vegetable supply chain channel, and there are many players. So we need ideas which can replenish, which can create the increase the shelf life of fruits and vegetables, and it's a more sought out ideas for the investors. So Waycool also supplies to Big Basket. Waycool also supplies to Ninja Cart, and Waycool is also supplies to gated communities. So they have opened their 3 modes of businesses, out of which the most sought out business is for supplying to Ninja Cart or supplying to Big Basket. So this is what Waycool does. Another startup is there by name Franzo, who have recently raised more than 61 million. So it is founded by Atul Kumar and very much active in Mumbai, Pune belt. So Franzo, everything what he does is does his business through online mode only. So they have their own distribution fulfillment centers. They directly interact with the farmers. They give their own criteria of the quality for farmers, and each belt what input has to be taken. They take care of the traceability part, and and through their own IT platform, they sell it to customers directly, Franzo. So I think many of the retail space startups, it's one of the successful startups out of all the retail space who are doing their business online. So Franzo has raised nearly about 61 million. In if you take the example of Bangalore, there are startups like Gourmet Garden is there, Deep Rooted is there. Swiggy also do same business. There is Swiggy, there is Flipkart also there. But Franzo says ki from farm to your fork, it will take you around 8 hours from the 4 hours from the time you order it. So that is what the beauty in Franzo, and they're very much actively they're in Android and iOS. So if anybody who uses a Franzo can also share his or her experience. Another startup who is into very much active into nutrition and agri inputs plus advisory, that is AgroStar. It was started back in the year 2008 by Seth brothers, majorly the Shithanshu Seth and co. So AgroStar is very active in Pune. They have raised more than 112 million. So through their online platform, they sell agri inputs, their own formulation of agri inputs. They provide advisory to the farmers. They provide seeds from different companies. They provide agri mechanization inputs, what is required for the farmers. They provide you any request for knowing the agronomy data. They give you the customized solution. They provide you consultant for agronomy. Any kind of forecasting data or agriculture data which is required by the farmer, they will provide you. Just a minimum amount of subscription method one startup has to do with the AgroStar, and slowly they will work with you. So AgroStar is very active. It's one of the oldest startups, I think, in this before Startup India became legalized or formalized it. So AgroStar is also on the verge of becoming a 1 billion valuation agri startup. So mostly what we have seen is in this space those who are into e-commerce platform, either they use their own innovative formulations, solutions of fertilizers, biofertilizer, pesticide, herbicide, insecticide to promote that in the e-commerce platform, or they join with other startups to promote their product in their platform, so that AgroStar has a reachability of more than 1 lakh farmers, 2 lakh farmers, FPOs. so that it will be easy for other startups to have a visibility in this AgroStar space. So with AgroStar, many startups have also grown and use his data, and nowadays farmers are much more conscious about technology. So they understand technology and they are ready to pay also, because talking about literate farmers from who are residing in Nasik, Sangli, Nagpur belt, which is very much horticulture region. People are very much enthusiastic toward technology, and they are ready to adopt those kind of technology, and they are ready to pay, because they're totally dependent on agriculture and the horticulture produce, and giving a huge margin of productions of money making. So unless and until a farmer see there is, if he gives X amount in some technology or initiative, he will definitely look at the return should be around 5x or 10x. So this is how the agri space run. If you want to convince a farmer the output is will be 100x, then your idea or your information or your services or your technology should really have a differentiating impact what the farmer is using it now. Another startup is there by name Jai Kisan. So where governments lack any information of how to reach in rural India, and where they get scared of giving any kind of credit to the farmers or small money lenders, Jai Kisan has played an immense role in this, which is uh, by giving them credit to the farmers or money lenders or any kind of small micro entrepreneurs who want to start something in rural area. Which the startup is founded by two Indian founders. One of them is Adriel Maniago and his team member. So it was started in 2017, which is registered in Mumbai. They have raised nearly about 37 million money according to the latest data of Crunchbase. So they have their own methodology, own credit rating, or or credit score, or see, you can say they have their own CIBIL score of determining how or which farmer has need of money and what is the payback period. So they have identified it and they are working nicely, where government and other money lenders face a bigger challenge or issues. So Jai Kisan is one of the startup. I think it's, and we should be proud enough that where many models fails to enter in the rural India, Jai Kisan has survived, and it has a quite number of farmers in them. More than 1 lakh farmers are all dependent on Jai Kisan mobile app and in taking credit from them. So you can just download this Jai Kisan app and you can see how the rating should be there, what is the account history a farmer needs to maintain, how the accounting goes on, what is the income statement of it. So they keep the totally track of that, and in return they take small amount of interest rate from the farmers. That is nothing but a token of buyback from them. So the trust what they put in the farmer, that is something any startup who wants to enter in the rural space needs to do that, because it's not so easy to convince a farmer, and it's not so easy to give credit to the farmer. You must be knowing most of the credit what or loans what the farmer take from the government have been waived away. So in this scenario of waiving of the credits and all, how Jai Kisan has survived, and they have raised 37 million from external investors. Means the type of proposal or the type of business model or business depth they provide, it's amazing. This is this startups needs a lot appreciation for that, how they manage to give credit to the farmers. So they also provide an agriculture marketplace where a startup products can be buyback, and they help in matchmaking with traders who want to take those kind of products. They provide data on types of agri inputs and what kind of agri inputs needs a farmer. They can also buy from that platform. So many features they are slowly adding Jai Kisan. Another important startup, I think, in the age of data mining, data intelligence, or business intelligence, or field intelligence, you can say, is Cropin. Cropin is one of the SaaS-based platform, software as a service, where they provide curtailed or customer-made, tailor-made solution to farmers. And they're not simple farmers; they are farmers which having more than 50 to 100 acres of land, and they are into totally on production of agriculture products or horticulture products. In that, with the help of weather forecast, satellite forecast, they will create a proper data accuracy on how much amount, when the weather will change, what is the soil capability, what kind of fertilizer need to be added, what will be the yield, how the yield will be affected if there is any kind of pest. All kind of intelligence they collect from a field, they give you as a package to the farmers. And in that the farm operator will using this data help them to guide and matching the type of crops they want to produce and the yield. So this have a immense capability in the field of precision farming, where you need accuracy of the data, and data accuracy is very much required while cropping patterns and all. So they have their own structured AI algorithms in their intelligence, which will determine the next forecast of production, how the crop will react to that. So all kind of machinery they keep with them. And in the data analytics lab, they will draw some predictable data pictures. It will be helping the farmers or big players like Syngenta or Monsanto to determine the production capability. As you know, the productivity level of crops in India has to be increased rather than the production. So in this area, Cropin plays a major role. They predicts the real-time weather updates and give you the what are the farm activities need to be done on that, how the yield will be, how the risk can be minimized, and how the productivity will be increased. So these are the areas they work on. So in 2010, it was founded by Krishna Kumar. It is also a Bangalore startup which has raised 37 million money till date. And there are VCs and angel investors who have put money on Cropin. So this is how a sustainable farm should be. Cropin is one of the bigger name in that. Another startup by name Stella Apps. If anybody is into dairy or working with dairy, must be knowing Stella Apps, which was founded in the year 2011 by Mr. Ranjit Mukundan and his teammate. It's also a Bangalore startup. They have raised more than 37 million money. So the total one-stop dairy solution from churning, from milking to the reaching the dairy plant. So what are things it required to manage the whole supply chain? Stella Apps takes care, maintaining the temperature to knowing the traceability, or to knowing the quality of the milk, and what kind of feeds need to be given to the farm owner. So end to end data management, dairy management software they have evolved using their own IoT methods with AI algorithms in that, which is enabled in it, predicting what kind of milk will be there in the coming days, what is the health of the cow, and at what time it should be milked, to how much yield it has to be, how much yield it will be producing, till managing the quality of the milk. So Stella Apps plays a major role. He has all the milk, most of the milk federation are in touch with Stella Apps, starting from Amul to Kamdhenu to private dairies, to individual dairies, FPOs. So Stella App has its name in this. So this was one of the most prominent startups of dairy segment, which take care of the total dairy management through their own analytics and with their own methods, and through their own data capturing techniques. So they made different platform for different type of customers. For farm management, there is different. For federation, there is different. For individual milk farmer, there is different. So totally it is managed by softwares, and they have their own veterinarians and animal health specialists who take care of their sheep rearing, goat rearing, or cattle rearing, everything. So end-to-end management that took at. Let it be the supply chain side, where the logistic management, where you have to maintain the cold temperature of the warehouse, to optimizing how much milk has to be procured and how much milk has to be distributed. Everything Stellap manages that. Another startup by name is Intello Labs, which is started by Milan Mishra, founded in the year 2011. Is also Gurugram based startup who has raised quite good amount of money, 8.5 million. Intello Labs, it's a deep learning startup. What they majorly take part is that they will mostly they are into horticulture crops, where they will take the track of all those horticultural crops, the disease prediction, the time of cultivation, the time of fruiting, everything they will take care end-to-end management. In one tree, how much amount of fruit can be produced, what the time of watering or sowing, everything they will take care. Or any kind of disease prediction is there. If for example, if you take an example of a tomato, if a farmer is not sure ki, how much amount on what how much amount my variety of tomato will fetch, or what kind of disease my variety is having, or where is the marketplace, I can put it. Intello Labs take care of everything through their analytic platform, where they will through their deep learning, we will see and predict how much, with the help of a photograph, they will predict computer vision. They will predict how much amount this tomato will fetch in the market. Or if there is a disease, then it will early notify to the farmers, and they take care of the whole farm management. And also this startups slowly they started with disease prediction and rearing timetable and forecasting to marketplace. Now they have their own marketplace. They contact with middle level farm management, which having more than 50 to 100 acres. They give them timely data, plus they buy back their products and sell them to bigger players like Ninja Cart, or they sell to Big Basket, or they will sell to their own platform, or like Geomart and all, much more multinational players. So Intello Labs, slowly it has evolved itself from a computer vision, deep analytics, to market linkages, and to bigger exporter. Another startup who is into agri space is EM3 Agri Services, started by Aditya Mall and his father in the year 2013. It's also Noida-based startup from UP, which has raised nearly about 13.3 million. Mostly what is the business model is ki, at the farm gate or the farmer's level, you need different kind of farm equipment or mechanization to address your own farm situation or your own farm field. So everything can be rented from their platform. So whoever can't afford to buy any kind of expensive farm technology for rent, so can use their platform, and in the same manner it will boost the productivity at a cheaper cost. So that is the whole scenario they look at. They are active in Noida, they're active in Haryana, they're active in Punjab, recently they're active in Himachal. So mostly Punjab and Punjab and Haryana people try to use this kind of business model, where they love to hire and on dream. So EM3 is a success in this model. Started in the year 2013, they have raised 13.3 million. It's amazing because in this space there are already many startups are there, but EM3 has survived itself from the course of change in the startup scenario. So they take care. They contact individually the farmers from the time of sowing till it reaches the marketplace. So take care of everything, what all technology and mechanization on demand they require, or which can be hired at that time. They completely manage that with the post-harvesting management method. So EM3 is one of the name they have created themselves for agri services. Another startup is there by name Fasal, which is an IoT-driven crop monitoring platform. So basically, Fasal gives you weather prediction, soil prediction of any farm field. They have their own technology. They have their own equipment, which has to be placed in the farm field, and it will predict what is the soil moisture, soil humidity, rain prediction through satellite, or they will predict what is the at what time sowing has to be done. So this will help the farmer or to analyze when he need to sow his seeds, and when at what time it has to be, how much amount of water has to be poured, how much fertilizer has to be added, how much urea he has to give, how much insecticide, pesticide has to be added. So completely Fasal take care of that. So with the help of their own equipments, so at what and everything with the help of data analytics, all the data is captured with the IoT devices through the cloud of Fasal. From that cloud, you can extract the data to each farmers get their data, and they understand the whole analysis of what and when to be done the plantation. So this all end-to-end service is given by Fasal. So Fasal, mostly Fasal is very much active in, again I tell you, where there is a horticulture breed, for example, tomato, grapes, because every cropping pattern has different dynamics of cultivating it. So mostly Fasal is active in Nagpur, Nasik, Sangli, and there are other startups from my incubation center like Philo is there, which is also eating much more business of Fasal. They also have created their name, and it all depend how you capture your customer very soon, and the monitoring system and the accuracy in your data is and it's very much driven by what methodology you use, and the cost of the equipment also matters, because I told you as ki, if a farmers invest 10 rupees on the equipment, he will think ki how much 100 rupees or 110 rupees will be the output. So cost sensitive scenario in agricultural is very much has to be taken care by the Fasal, and by the startup, and Fasal is one of them. So founded by 2017 by Anand Verma, it's a Noida-based startup, has raised 5.9 million. So now Fasal has acting on deep learning and AI prediction of weather for the next 6 months, 8 months, or 1 year, how it will be, how the soil fertility will be. Everything is now predicted. Slowly, they have added many features on it. So the equipment you can see in that image, that is a Fasal equipment. So I haven't added the real-time image. So the same is that the equipment, it's in the picture. Another Bangalore-based startup. So when you say about startup and you can't leave Bangalore out of scenario. So Bangalore is the best startup city out past Pune, Gurugram, Noida, and Hyderabad. So Big Hat, it's one of the startup which work on e-commerce platform. So there are many e-commerce platform available for agri, but the implementation part, the execution part, the product variety, how to reach the customer, how to attract the customer, how you build with the trust, that all matters in an e-commerce platform. I think Big Heart has achieved immensely on this sector, creating their one-stop agri store, founded by Satish Nakula and his co-team in 2015. They have raised nearly about 2.6 million, and because it takes much time for an investor or a VC to accept an e-commerce platform, and how they are scaling it, it's matter to them. And if the VCs understand ki at this rate I need to the business will scale, then definitely the flock of money will come soon. Otherwise, it takes late unless and until they see the actual pictures, how many customers they are having, how many product variation they are having, how many transactions they have done per day, per month, per year. So all this matters for a VC to put money on e-commerce platforms. So they are one of the largest agri-input market platform, and they provide all sort of supplies, from machineries to equipment to products to to chemical pesticides, organic insecticides, and most of the customers are individual big farmers or FPOs, NGOs, or institutional growers who can take them in bulk quantity. They tap them. One of a startup by name Fresho Cards. It's a Jaipur-based startup started by Rajendra Lora, who himself is a software engineer. Founded in the year 2015. They have recently raised 1.6 million, and it's again a B2C company. So Fresho Cards business model is very simple. They started with soil recommendation and fertilizers. For example, adding fertilizers, how much amount of fertilizer has to be added to the soil, and what is the health of a soil, which area it's belong, and what is the amount of watering has to be done. They started with this kind of information to the farmers, and they started with this kind of information to the farmers. So, and slowly, they have scaled to becoming one of the major player in providing a marketplace to them, to the farmers through their own platform. So they have a belief that the products the fruit and vegetable that we come to the market, it's a huge price as compared to the amount received by the farmers. So he wants to eradicate that, and from that moment he started working on what are the things required for health of a soil for a farmer, for to increase their yield, so that the proper buyback can be done. There will be the loss in the supply chain has to be eliminated, and finally he can provide a marketplace for the farmers. Fresho Cart, the examples that we have I provided to you, in real time everybody started with giving real time data to the farmers, from data to the farmers to getting their products from grading it, sorting it, manage the whole supply chain, and make it available to the retailer whenever they required, at any time possible, or providing a proper marketplace to them where farmers can wholeheartedly sell their product directly, or a trader can wholeheartedly sell their product directly. These are the major areas where startups are working on, how to communicate between a farmer what he requires, and the retailer what best he needs. So this is the whole gamut of business, how the ecosystem of startups work on, basically in these major areas. These are the areas where there is scope of scalability is huge. Our agriculture supply chain, fruit and vegetables, is a 500 billion business, and we are having startup which have started slowly with success of nearly about 30 to 40 startups are there in this space. So 500 billion business with 40 startups is not matching. So we need more and more startups. So this is where investors have a belief, and more and more money need to be infused in this kind of startups to make them grow as soon as possible. In a span of 1 to 1.5 years, the list of examples that I have given, I think only one of the living one, all others are not unicorns, but in the span of 1 to 1.5 years, majorly will be all in unicorn position, because the amount of money infusion is huge in them. So that is where we have to think what kind of products a market needs. And fruits, food and vegetables this is an area where the consumption will never stop. Okay? The notion is that consumption will never stop until we die, and this lockdown has played a major role for these startups to flourish. If you see the recent data of 2021, nearly about 42 startups are there who have been unicorn. Out of them, nearly about 60% are all fintech startups, or other than this, or all supply chain startups are there like this. So with this, I end my presentation. So what my way forward and direction for institute like you is to have something which is much more interactive for student entrepreneurs to understand how the startup scenario is, what excitement is there, and how biotechnology or biotechnology led agri biotechnology or marine biotechnology or food biotechnology startups evolves, and any orientation on startup planning for faculty so that they can guide, be a proper coach to the students, and then guide them to be a proper entrepreneurs and work on their project, real-time projects from third year, second years for final years. So how to set a successful startup business, entrepreneurship in biotechnology, what are the green areas need to be work on, and how and where money can be made out of it. It's about how you can scale using your idea, not totally influxing you on the research part only. So various funding schemes are there. What are the role of cutting edge technologies is there? Biotech Incubation Center, what is the roadmap? So with this, I end my session. Any questions? I'm ready to answer.
Any questions?
Right now, we are not worried on this part. Any kind of funny questions or any kind of out of box questions you think can be answered, or you think need to be addressed related to startup only? So the agricultural area where startups are working with immense focused on productivity and services. So that is one of the major areas. Other than this, there are biotechnology-led startups who are handholding with the agri startups to make them possible, and they're also in. They have received funds and in the growing stage. Who are working on biopesticides, who are working on marine biotechnology. And the thing is that at one level, your innovation is being funded, or your idea is being funded by Government of India. Your idea, just you have an idea, I want to make one bio-fortified fodder. Okay, just think about that. I want to make a bio-fortified fodder, which is useful for cattle and livestock in giving them whole nutrition in a balanced quantity can be done. So how is it possible? So things if you want to solve problems using biotechnology, for example, there is another startup from Israel, Ari Milkman. Sorry, I forget the name. I will just WhatsApp that name. He is working on microbial production of milk cells from cattle to produce milk in lab. Same quality, same quantity, and he is amazing. This kind of innovations where you invest a lot of amount of money on livestock, feed, fodder, and which as a result which increases the greenhouse effect. He's producing milk through in labs using microbial cell culture, and from that he's producing milk. So this is what amazing things are going on in biotechnology. You can work on uh, 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 biotechnology which can probiotics which can increase health benefits. So health sector startups who want to do something very much amazing, seeing people are very much passionate about their own health. So biotechnology producing some kind of supernatural food using probiotics, something like that concepts, or probiotic sugar, probiotic, anything, everything. Now the market is on infusion. So infusion based ideas are very much welcome by government of India, where health sector is immense. You can open your own e-commerce platform, you can sell your own product. Nothing is there. There is no such hassle of regulations. Or otherwise, if you are working on any diseases or any kind of or any kind of bioplastics which is really a degradable plastic, very fast degradable bioplastics, or bioplastic which can be used to replace the plastic used to pack milks. That is one of the great ideas that we are looking at. So there are many ideas. So if you say we can discuss only problems and ideas, what is the problems, what ideas are shaping, and what your inputs can take a major role in that idea. That can be one of the exciting session if we can have. So any kind of questions? Basically, we work on ground startups where there are two kinds of people we are working on. One who has an idea, but they don't have any kind of funding. So if your idea is innovative, government is going to fund on your idea. That is one category of people, where students, researchers, or faculty can play important role. Another set of funding we do, that is for people who have their own startups, innovative startups. They need money for making pilot production. For commercialization, government gives 25 lakhs of grant. So we are one of the nodal agencies. As the past speaker told about the funding schemes, we have been funded by RKV of the Ministry of Agriculture to scout those kind of ideas which need funding, and that should have that solves a major problem with scalability and innovativeness in them.
Thank you, Srikanth, for your wonderful presentation.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir.
And some of our students are working on developing an app to integrate multiple institutions covering all, as you said, agriculture-based implements, agriculture-based product, and certified varieties of the crops, right? And biopesticide and bioinsecticide available for technology. And that kind of thing. In any way, in case if they approach you, please help them, because they are in the preliminary stage. Collecting the information, they want to come out with an integrated app. So I will ask our students to contact you so that we can have a discussion. So that,
definitely, sir. Definitely.
And do you have any new ideas which our faculty members can take up for their students project or for their own research as a research proposal?
Definitely, sir. Actually, we have come across many problems. We have conferences with bureaucrats, startups. There are many kind of problems are there, but if we will have a discussion on it, how it can be implemented, and what are the ideas that can be taken at the college level, so that they can work in-house in their faculty team and they can validate it, and those ideas can be funded, and finally what the output will come, the student will have his own company with a fund in it, and he can scale that product and he can empower himself. That is what the whole mantra is. So those kind of ideas, we need to have a discussion with you and your faculty. What are the areas you are looking at? Because it all depends on what are the capabilities they are having, so that we can give you some real-time problems what we are facing, and these problems has a major market, and it can be addressed by this kind of simple solutions, and this solution can be funded by Government of India. After funding, it can be, you can work with your own institution in-house, and it can be scaled at a level having the real-time ownership as a faculty or a student or a student or a student or a faculty, whatever it may be. So we have 2 to 3 faculty members from different engineering colleges in Bangalore who are working on animal health problems using artificial intelligence and early disease detections, who are real-time faculty in their institutions, and the institution have given them scope to open their own company, work on their idea, simultaneously work for the institution also. So that is also possible, and people are professors are working on it, sir.
And do you provide any students projects also for your Nivesh?
Yes, actually there are many students are here, and we are running our 6th cohort. So nearly about 30 entrepreneurs have been funded. Out of them, many are students are there. So the thing is that second year, third year, final year students we encourage, because second year and third year they will have a problem with interaction with institutional activities plus in the startup activities. So we encourage final year students. But if you start encouraging your second year students, key entrepreneurship is an area where biotechnology is untouched, and simple ideas can float on the surface, can be funded by BIRAC, DBT, DST, Nidhi Prayag. I can give you a session on what are the different funding schemes by Government of India, what are the different funding schemes by institutional organization, and what kind of ideas are get selected, and everything can be done because we are simultaneously working with different colleges on these areas. So for example, we have created concept labs for them, where mentor from our institutions will be sitting with them, will mentoring what the student wants. Okay? And what are the problems, on based on that will give them real-time problems. In that problems, what is the tailor-made solutions can be made, and student can do on their college itself, involving faculty, using the college infrastructure, your labs, and can come in the final year with the proper beautiful projects which will be funded by Government of India, or it will be looked at the investors. So for example, what are the alternates of biofuel can be done. We seen Jatropha, because when we go for biotechnology, we think about Jatropha as a biodiesel. So what are the alternate ways which can be practically can be implied in industry, and they will be start using that. So that are the areas we look at, because we don't see any kind of project which are research oriented for 2 to 3 years, because it will take time, and it need huge investments. If any startup works on disease, for example, foot and mouth disease is very common in cattle. So there are startups who are situated in IBAB or Bangalore Bioinnovation Center. They need scientific evidence, data, or scientific validation. They comes to Nivedi. We will assist them, connect with the right scientist. We will see how the product can be validated, what are the regulatory in that, because the FMDV is a very it's a disease which is very prevalent in India for the past 100 years. So we work on this angle. Student entrepreneurs, I will just tell them ki just think and just dream your ideas. What ideas can be done? See a real-time problem, how to identify a proper problem, what solution can be done, what existing solution are there in prior art, what are the existing has been done. So just work on problem solution, only set of problems, real-time problems. Then I will add on what are the problems are really prevailing, how the startups are addressing, what can be done, and how it can be scaled up. It's not that it addressed only one set of people and that finishes. That's not where a startup should be. As I told you in the beginning of my slide, problem should be big enough. Can be scaled. The solution can be scaled to different cities, so that the scale of making money will be increasing, and that is where government and venture capitalists look at you. So we tell this to college students ki just biotechnology is area where in fisheries, where in livestock, in poultry, let it be in herbal formulations or any kind of stuffs that can be applied on. See, people are working on vaccines. Why can't we have protectives in cattles made of biofilms? There are many kind of problems. If we have a problem solution day, and we will pitch n number of problems and what are the related solution on it and what need to be addressed, that will be a great opportunity for second, third, and fourth year students to think, and they can definitely do it.
Community, in case if we bring a students together, and I hope maybe in the next week or in the new year we'll have an exclusive session for the students, so that CS and IS and BT students can sit together and they can come out with some kind of constructive proposal.
Definitely, sir. Yes. Because sir, nowadays problems are all interdisciplinary. Only yes. Biotechnology can solve not one problem. Because what we have seen in these 10 years, that is computer science is required, biotechnology is required, you need chemical engineers, you need mechanicals, so all are interdisciplinary. So
we'll have an exclusive session for the students, sir.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
That will greatly benefit the students better.
Definitely, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your elaborate lecture and the mind-blowing examples and the startups that you have given is wonderful. And actually realistic job to see all the successful startups, right? Thank you very much for spending your valuable time and sharing your knowledge to all the participants, and also accepting our invitation and gracing this occasion. And thank you for being a part of our SLB program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Looking forward for some more kind of collaborative discussion and.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Dear participants, with the kind